Mr. Bugelmans, can you hear me? This is Doug. Hello?
Are you able to hear me?
Hear you, Doug.
Are the other parties able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Thanks, Peter.
Hi, Mr. Bugelman. Can you hear me? This is Doug, the court reporter.
I can hear you, Doug. Are you able to hear me now?
I hear you very weakly. I better check.
How's this?
That's stronger.
Okay, I'll try to speak up. I'm using my normal setup and it seems to be at least acceptable. So at least in the past. So hopefully it works today.
Hello, Sandra.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Long time no see.
I know, it's good to see you, Peter.
Good morning.
Morning, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Good morning.
I think everybody's here that needs to be here.
Your Honor, I don't see my witness here.
No, you're right. I don't either.
I don't know whether you'll have questions.
I did
for
not
him.
have, I excused him actually. So I do not have questions. So that's fine. We don't need to. Doug, can we go on the record and start?
You're on the record, Your Honor. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, April the 29th, 2021. It's about 10 a.m. We're here today for an evidentiary hearing in case number 9652 in the matter of the application of PTR Hold Co. LLC for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to construct a 30 megawatt solar photovoltaic generating facility in Harford County, Maryland. My name is Christine Burke. I am the Public Utility Law Judge assigned by the Public Service Commission to hear this case. Can I have the appearances of counsel, beginning with the applicant, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. David Bugelmans on behalf of the applicant. I also have with me as witnesses for the applicant Barry Skolchi and Timothy Conlon.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
PPRP?
Good morning, Your Honor. Sandra McLemore on behalf of PPRP. With me today, I have Ginny Rogers with PPRP and also Dr. Peter Hall as witnesses.
Thank you. For Office of People's Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Patrick O'Loughlin on behalf of Maryland OPC.
Good morning. And for staff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Peter Wilson on behalf of the technical staff, the Public Service Commission. I see my witness has joined now, Mr. Wilson, and I also understand you don't have questions for him, and he can be excused if he desires, if that comports with your honors order.
That's fine. Thank you. I understand that based on the April 23rd filing that there's a settlement agreement between the parties to accept the recommended licensing conditions by PPRP this morning. So I'm assuming that there's no objections to any of the evidence that's being offered by the parties today. I'd like to run through everybody's exhibits, and at the end of that, if there's no objections or questions for those, I'd like to I have some questions for some of the parties' witnesses that are here today, if that is okay with everybody. Okay, so Mr. Bugelmans, would you like to start?
Sure, Your Honor. I will run through our exhibits. At the pre-hearing conference, we admitted 2 exhibits into the record. The first is the notices compliance filing under the public utilities article. And the second exhibit is the certificate of publication for the pre-hearing conference. So those are applicant exhibits 1 and 2. The first new exhibit this morning, Your Honor, is applicant exhibit 3, and that's the CPCN petition consisting of 7 pages filed on September 2nd, 2020 under mail log number 231712.
Yeah, so marked. Any objection to admitting?
No objections.
That will be admitted as applicant's exhibit 3 for the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next is applicant exhibit number 4. That's the environmental review document and appendices. Altogether, that consists of 519 pages, also filed on September 2nd, 2020, also under mail log number 231712.
ERD and appendices will be marked as applicant's exhibit 4. Are there any objections to admitting that to the record?
No objection.
Seeing none, that will be admitted as applicant's exhibit 4.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next, we have applicant exhibit number 5. That's the certificates of publication compliance filing for the first public comment hearing. That consists of 7 pages filed on December 11th, 2020 under mail log number 232910.
That'll be marked as applicant's exhibit 5. Are there any objection to admitting applicant's exhibit 5 to the record?
No objection.
Seeing none, that will be admitted to the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next is applicant exhibit 6. That's a direct testimony of Barry Sculci consisting of 11 pages filed on January 8th, 2021 under mail log number 233233.
That'll be marked as applicant's exhibit 6. Any objection to admitting the direct testimony of Mr. Sculci? Seeing none, that will be marked and admitted to the record as applicant's exhibit 6.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next is applicant exhibit 7. That's the direct testimony of Timothy Kellerman, consisting of 4 pages, also filed on January 8th, 2021, also under mail number 233233.
That'll be marked as applicant's exhibit 7. Any objection to admitting to the record? Seeing none, that'll be admitted as applicant's exhibit 7.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next is applicant exhibit 8. That's the certificates of publication compliance filing for the second public comment hearing. It consists of 8 pages filed on April 20th, 2021 under mail log number 234869.
That'll be marked as applicant's exhibit 8. Any objection to it moving to the record? Seeing none, that will be admitted as exhibit 8, the second public comment hearing notices.
Thank you, Your Honor. The second to last exhibit, applicant exhibit 9, is a settlement status update filed on April 23rd, 2021, consisting of 2 pages under mail log number 234931.
Any objection to admitting applicant's exhibit 9? Seeing none, that will be admitted to the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. And then the final exhibit for the applicant, applicant exhibit 10, is the revised conceptual site plan consisting of 2 pages filed yesterday on April 28th, 2021, under mail log number 235011.
Any objection to admitting applicant's exhibit 10 to the record? Seeing none, that will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes our exhibits.
Thank you. Ms. McLemore, do you want to go ahead with your exhibits? I did receive a list that was sent out, I believe, yesterday.
Yes, Your Honor, that was just for ease of going through it in case anyone needed this spelling or anything. I just wanted to make it easier.
Okay.
Also, Your Honor, I had filed a corrected copy of the project assessment report. I would prefer just to enter that document because it has the index is corrected. In the initial one, the index had been messed up when we tried to put it into PDF.
Yes, and I did actually have a question. Is that the only correction, or was it just the table of contents?
Yes, Your Honor, that was the
Okay.
only correction.
Okay, so the substance of the rest of the document is the same.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that okay if I just enter that document?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first, Your Honor, I have the direct testimony of Jenny Rogers. It was filed on April the 8th of this year. I'd like to have that marked as exhibit PPRP Exhibit 1 and entered into the record.
Any objection? Seeing none, that's admitted as Exhibit 1.
Second, I have the secretarial letter, which consists of 2 pages, and it was also filed on April the 8th, 2021. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 2 and entered into the record.
That will be marked as Exhibit 2. Any objection to admitting to the record? Seeing none, that will be admitted as Exhibit 2.
Third, I have the initial recommended licensing conditions of the reviewing state agencies, which was also filed on April 8th, 2021. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 3 and entered into the record.
That will be marked as Exhibit 3. Any objection to admitting to the record? Seeing none, that will be admitted as PPRP's Exhibit 3.
Fourth, I have the direct testimony of Dr. Peter D. Hall, which was also filed on April 8th, 2021. I would ask if that be marked PPRP Exhibit 4 and entered into the record.
That'll be marked as PPRP Exhibit 4. Any objection to moving into the record? Seeing none, that will be admitted as Exhibit 4.
Fifth, I have the project assessment report for PTR Holdco Fairview Farm Solar Project on behalf of PPRP, which was filed on April the 29th, 2021. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 5 and entered into the record.
So marked. Is there any objection to moving Exhibit 5 into the record? The corrected part. Okay. That'll be admitted as PPRP Exhibit 5.
And the following 3 exhibits are the appendices to the project assessment report. I've divided them up into 3 exhibits because of their length and just to try to make more sense of, for more efficiency. The first is PAR Appendix A, applicant responses to selected PPRP data requests. If I could have that marked as PPRP Exhibit 6 and entered into the record.
So marked. And any objection? That'll be admitted.
Next, I have the PAR Appendix B, which is the Harford County requested conditions for the CPCN. If I could have that marked and entered into the record as PPRP Exhibit 7.
Is there any objection to admitting Exhibit 7? Seeing none, that'll be admitted as PPRP Exhibit 7.
And finally, I have the PAR's Appendices C through G, which consist of the Forest Conservation Worksheet, the MDE Tier 2 letter, the County Zoning Process Documentation, the glare analysis, and the MHT letter. If I could have that complete document filed, marked as PPRP Exhibit 8 and entered into the record.
So marked. Is there any objection to admitting Exhibit 8 into the record? Seeing none, that will be admitted as PPRP Exhibit 8.
Thank you, Your Honor, and that is all I have.
Thank you. OPC, is there any evidence or exhibits that you wish to enter today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Wilson for staff. Do you have any exhibits?
Yes, Your Honor. Staff only has one exhibit, and that is the direct testimony of DeAndre Wilson of our engineering department. That was filed on April 8th, 2021 as mail log 234691. And we would ask that that be marked for identification as staff exhibit 1 and entered into the record as an exhibit.
The direct testimony of DeAndre Wilson be marked as staff's exhibit 1. Is there any objection to moving that into the record? Seeing none from the parties, that'll be moved into the record as staff's exhibit 1.
And that concludes our staff's documents, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Bugelmans, I did have some questions for Mr. Skolchi. I see that you're here today. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you.
Okay, but I do need to just apologize. I am fighting both a cold and some allergy reaction. So if I have to cough once in a while, I do apologize.
That's okay.
All right.
Yes. Could you raise your right hand, please?
Certainly.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Mr. Skolchi, I had a couple questions based pretty much on the public comments that were received with regard to this case.
Mm-hmm.
Did PTR Holdco consider any other sites in Harford County prior to selecting Fairview Farms for this project?
We really did not. As I testified during the last public hearing, selecting a site is it's not a straightforward process. And by virtue of the proximity of the property to the electrical infrastructure and the ability of that infrastructure to accept the power really drove our analysis. We have looked at other sites in Maryland, quite frankly. I don't believe any of them were in Hartford County. And in each case, those projects have fallen aside simply because of the interconnection issues. So it just turned out that, number one, that we have these two wonderful lines running right across Calvary Road, 2 circuits, and they have ample capacity. Quite frankly, that's it's really unheard of, in all due respect. I mean, we do quite a bit of this work, and I'll be honest, I've never run across a situation where the interconnection is as clean as this project.
Can you say about how many other sites were explored in Maryland?
Oh my goodness, I think we explored, and we're still exploring. By the way, we feel the Maryland market is conducive to solar energy. I'm going to say that we've explored close to 10 projects. It's just the interconnection, whether it's the length of the run that's required or the capacity, has been really been our pitfall in each one.
The outreach to the neighboring residents, I did see in your filings the letters that were sent in December of 2020 regarding the project. Was there any other outreach that was conducted either before or after that?
The only outreach was, my public testimony. It is not uncommon for us to make ourselves available to the public. There are times during the site plan process where the public is a participant and they come and they provide comments, and we'll engage them there too. It's something, frankly, we're very proud of. We're a transparent company. We've done work up and down the East Coast. We've installed close to 50 projects and developed close to 50 projects like these. We have, personally, my style is to be open and very communicative with whether it's the municipal governing body or the public.
What changes were made to the site plan to address the concerns of the neighboring residents?
Well, we made a series of changes, both to address the conditions of PPRP and also the residences. And I think the big one, or there's really two, all right, at least two. Number one is that we are staying away from any environmentally sensitive areas. We're staying out of buffers and any transition areas associated with wetlands, streams, etc. So that's number one. Number two, we increased the setback. Originally, the setback from the property boundary was 50 feet. We've increased it to 150 feet. Now, by way of example, that's a significant increase, a 200% or 300% increase. Also, to give an analogy, that is 1/2 of a football field. So that is a significant increase in the setback. And I'll further say that in any other project that we've installed, not that this is a bearing on the case, but we've never had a setback that great. The other thing that we've done is that we've the setback from the off-site residence was increased to 200 feet. And if you look at our revised site plan, we didn't have to do anything. By moving the system back and proposing the 150-foot setback, we're considerably more than 200 feet away from the from the front edge of every off-site residence. The other thing that we've committed to do is, we always said that we were going to do a buffer yard, which is landscaping. That has always been on the table. But in addition, we've agreed to install a berm that will be between 3 and 5 feet high, in which the buffer yard will be planted. All of these will provide a visual obstruction to the system. All of these items that we're now doing are geared to minimize any impact from the off-site residences. And as I stated, they're substantial. A half a football field is not insignificant.
The updated site plan that was filed, I believe it was yesterday, that reflects, you just said that reflects those changes that were recommended by Harford County.
Yes, and in fact, if you were to view the plan, you'll see that we show the original setback line, we show the 150-foot setback line from the property, and we also show a line of 200 feet from the edge of the solar array, and you can see that the distance between the edge and the front face of the offsite residences far exceeds the 200-foot distance.
Has that plan, I know it was just filed yesterday, has it been sent to anybody in Harford County? Or
I did not send it to anybody in Harford County. We did file it with the PPRP. I mean, our expectation and intent after the hearing or after your ruling is we know that we're going to have to engage the county, and we intend on presenting that plan. That plan will be the basis for our engineering design for the project, and so they will, besides it being available on the website, they will see it.
And right, so that'll be part of any of the site plan process as you go
Absolutely.
forward with the local Harford County.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my next question. Relating to the proposed license condition 20B, why wouldn't the county be able to process the site plan?
Personally, I'm not aware of any reason why they wouldn't. I mean, we are in my opinion, we are complying, and we've adjusted our proposal and our plan to incorporate all of their comments. So from my perspective, I don't see why they wouldn't. I would hope that this is the start of a very cooperative process.
Is there a need then to have that condition as part of one of the recommended conditions?
Which condition would that be?
The 20B, which was the process by which if Harford County does not approve for some reason the site plan, for the commission to designate somebody to be involved in that process.
I would hope that I would hope that doesn't occur. been doing this long enough that I always have to approach things with the what if scenario. I'll be honest, I'm an eternal optimist. Sometimes that's my downfall, but that's who I am. So I'm hopeful that that will not occur. But I think that, in my opinion, to present a option should that occur, I think that that condition is relevant. I think we all hope that's not necessary, but I do, I would hate to be in a position where we have to revisit that later on if something were to occur. I will do whatever I can to avoid that from happening. That much I can commit to you.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Does anyone else have any questions in light of my questions? Mr. Bugelmans
I have no follow-up, Your Honor.
and Ms. McLemore? OPC? Staff?
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Skolchi.
Thank you, and I didn't cough that much. Thank you.
Ms. McLemore, I have some questions for Ms. Rogers. Ms. Rogers, are you here? Yes, I see you.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Thank you. In your testimony, the final site plan review by Harford County on page 29, again, pertaining to the condition that's recommended 20B, has there been any indication outside of what's been filed that Harford County will refuse to process the site plan?
No, there has not been, but PPRP is concerned that in some discussions with other counties, that may be the case.
So there hasn't been with regard to Harford County, though?
Not with Harford County at all.
Why wouldn't the parties go to circuit court if Harford County refused?
It's possible that they could go to circuit court. This condition is in there perhaps to expedite the process and get the project built in a faster option as opposed to having to go back to the court.
If there was a need for, based on this condition, for the commission to get involved and approve the site plan, in your testimony you indicate that there's really no one that you could point to that would have the expertise to do that. Who would the commission appoint or designate in order to do that?
I don't have a good answer for that. An example could be a third-party consultant that has the expertise to do site plan reviews and is involved in other planning processes throughout the state of Maryland.
And who would finance the cost of a consultant that the commission would have to appoint?
The applicant.
If the commission would have to do that, and we're doing a lot of ifs, would that decision be binding on the county?
I'm not sure. I believe that that would be a discussion between the county and the commission. Again, it's a lot of ifs, and ideally the county will be able to review this site plan.
As part of the site plan approval process, is there a public comment hearing or public comment process that Harford County goes through?
I also don't know the answer to that question, but I assume that in other counties there are opportunities for public comment, so I assume that in Harford County there will be.
So I think I see Mr. Skolchi nodding his head. I'd ask that I'd be able to direct that question to you. I don't have any more questions for Ms. Rogers, but if anyone, let's start there. Does anyone else have any follow-up questions to Ms. Rogers based on my questions?
Your Honor, can I wait to ask the redirect after you talk to the applicant in the event that it's not, if I still have any redirect for Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'll direct my question to Mr. Skolchi regarding the local site plan process. The part of the public to participate in that hearing or give feedback or comments, is it a hearing forum or is it a written public comment forum?
Typically it's a public meeting. The meeting is noticed in accordance with the requirements, and the public has the opportunity to voice their opinion and raise any questions. That's typically how it is. The other thing that I would just like to confirm, that if there were any expenses that PPRP had to incur, if they did have to hire a third party, that we commit that we would cover those expenses.
Is there, during that engagement process with the site plan approval, the applicant would be part of that or there
Yes.
for that?
Yes, the applicant, typically what happens is that the applicant and their designated professional, their engineer, or if they're represented by counsel, would make a presentation. And the presentation would describe the project. It would describe if there were any variances or conditions that are not fully in accordance with the requirements. The plans would be presented. They would be entered as exhibits, and then if it's the planning board, they would have the ability to ask questions of the applicant. Then they would open it up to public comment, and the public has the ability to either address the board or the applicant and ask questions on the project.
Any other questions in light of my questions for, we'll go back to Ms. Rogers.
Your Honor, actually, I have a question for Mr. Skolski. I don't want to butcher your name, Mr. Skolski, but I have a question for him.
Go ahead.
Yes.
You just described a process that is carried out when a county reviews your project. Has this county already reviewed your project in some instance?
They reviewed it from a zoning perspective. That was it. We did not prepare detailed engineering plans or associated documents.
Have you ever been in a position where a county has indicated that it is not consistent with land use, and then they've continued on and just looked at the project and done the final review of the project plan?
The answer is yes and no, unfortunately. Most cases, the use that we bring before is in accordance with the land use requirements. Solar is developing. The use of solar on properties is developing, and we've had a couple instances in Pennsylvania where, in parallel with our submissions, they've actually crafted solar ordinances, so that at the beginning of the presentation of our materials, there may not have been a direct link to solar as a primary use, but by the time we were completed, they had crafted a revision to the municipal ordinance that allowed it.
Have you known of any indication in Maryland where a county has taken on a formal process and made the decision that it isn't consistent with land use, and understanding that the commission has preemptive authority, but are you familiar of any case where that county has then gone on to look at the final site plan?
I'm personally not aware.
Okay. Do you believe that, or do you have any factual knowledge to believe that Harford County will review the site plan without a doubt, given their previous decision?
I do not. I've not had any direct conversation with Hartford County in that regard.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And Your Honor, I do have a couple questions for Ms. Rogers as along the same same issue
Okay,
with regard to your questions.
please go ahead.
Ms. Rogers, are you familiar with any case in the state of Maryland where a county has made a formal decision that the project is inconsistent with the county ordinances, and then the county has gone on to review the final site plan?
I do not. I am not. Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
I am not familiar.
Do you, based on your experiences, do counties have similar ordinances, or is it a case-by-case situation with the counties and their ordinances?
It's definitely a case-by-case situation.
Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Ms. Rogers? Seeing none, I do not have any other questions for any of the witnesses. Is there any other issues that we need to address today? Seeing none, I appreciate everybody's participation today. Thank you. Hopefully we'll have a decision soon, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We can
Thank
go
you,
off
Your
the record. Thank you.
The same, Your Honor.
We're off the record, Your Honor. Thank you.